Welcome to Burnout Solutions, a podcast designed to help high achievers and healthcare professionals understand stress and how it can lead to burnout. Together, we'll explore how your brain and nervous system naturally work and why they sometimes hold you back, and how to overcome those challenges to fully enjoy the success you've worked so hard to create. I am your host, Mona Tippett, registered nurse, burnout coach, and resiliency educator. Hello, and welcome back to Burnout Solutions. I am excited to be here. I just got out of my cold bath a little while ago, and I'm still really cold, so I hope my voice makes it and I don't sound too shaky, and that you can't hear my little space heater in the background warming me up. It's been an excellent week, and we are just getting into the holiday season when I'm recording this, but this won't come out for a little bit until after the holidays, and I really hope that you find some value in this episode. Today, I am talking about recovering after the holidays. And this is especially for all of you overachievers like me who like to go, 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 and go. And often I have found it is hard to slow down. And sometimes our body just crashes and we get sick after a big stressful event, after the holidays, after a vacation, because we've pushed ourselves so far that our body can't keep up and it just shuts down. I hope that the 3 previous episodes have helped you learn how to take the holidays one step at a time and take care of yourself through the holidays so that you don't have this huge crash and get sick and shut down. But I do want you to know that it is important to recover and to repair and to re-regulate and just reset your nervous system. And that can help us just to get back into our daily routine, because rest is a huge part of repair. And I have learned that more, and I have implemented that more in my life. And this episode can also be used after just a big event in your life. But often I think when we look back, whether the event was magical, messy, stressful, beautiful, overwhelming, or all of the above, our nervous system has a feeling about it. And remember, our nervous system stores feelings and things that our brain can't quite always articulate. And most importantly, our nervous system deserves a reset and a rest. So today, we're going to talk about what to do after the holidays when you're tired, you're overstimulated, you're coming off of that emotional adrenaline roller coaster. There might possibly be some lingering tension from family interactions, from coworker interactions, from things that happened that maybe didn't go as well as you had hoped. Maybe you are back at work, and after a stressful go, 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 go vacation and holiday season, and bam, you are working your full 12-hour shifts, or we just get back into it and we feel exhausted and everybody around us feels exhausted. And maybe your body's just saying, hey, please, please, can we rest now? And often this is where we get sick. So today we're going to talk about how to decompress, how to repair with yourself and with other people, how to help your nervous system reset, and how you can create a little softer landing back into just your everyday life. So let's just take a big deep breath together and let's begin. So why a post-holiday recovery matters? Well, here's some things that I think we often forget, especially overachievers and go-getters, is that your nervous system doesn't really care if the holidays were good or bad, wonderful, magical, etc. What your nervous system remembers is the huge extremes and how intense they were. And intensity, even positive intensity or negative intensity, is still a demand on your system. From a polyvagal perspective, just being excited and feeling all of those strong, high emotions can shift and they do turn on our sympathetic activation. Now, however, this isn't always something that we realize is just stressful, but it's putting us at the very, very top of our curve, even if we're not spilling over. Also, what we talked about before, busy schedules can compress our window of tolerance. Seeing family can activate old survival patterns. Working holiday shifts puts us into ongoing vigilance. Even staying up late, getting ready for the holidays and getting up early, right? All the things that we talked about. All of these things just overstimulate and can tax our vagus nerve, and the constant go, go, go means that our system really doesn't have a time to truly settle. So what you're feeling right now, if it's fatigue, irritability, just the emotional hangover, is totally your biology doing its best. It is your system trying to return to baseline. So there's the buildup, right? The anticipation, the planning, the preparing, the managing expectations, this is what I want to happen. I really hope that this happens. And for some people, often that is the best part. Even when I talk to people about planning vacations, right? A lot of them love the anticipation and the planning and the researching and the thought and excitement of it's going to be so great. And then there's the peak, which is the actual event, the actual vacation, the actual holiday. It's to travel, family dynamics, logistics, even maybe working during that holiday. And that is the peak. And then there is the crash. And this is often, when people say, I need a vacation after my vacation, this is what they're talking about. This is when everything stops. Suddenly, the adrenaline, the cortisol, those hormones that were giving us that high and drive run out. And the crash can, leave us feeling numb, feeling overly emotional. We can be irritated with people. We feel like we need to hide and isolate. We can feel overwhelmed with no clear reason. Maybe you go into this cleaning frenzy and you want to de-junk everything. That happens to me so much that I want to throw everything away, right? Because we just brought in all these gifts and more and more and more and more things. And suddenly I feel like my house is just overflowing. Often we want to avoid people. Our emotional and social capacity has dropped. We want to eat all the leftovers, right? There's so many good treats that are still left over. And our eating habits have gone off the rails. And hey, why not continue those, right? And sometimes you just want to stay in bed for 3 days. And that could be healthy and recovery, or it could be shut down. It just depends on where you are and how hard it is. But just know that this is very normal, and there's actually a name for this. Tara Brach actually refers to this a lot, but it's called the afterglow of stress. And this is where your system is recalibrating. And most importantly, you need to lean into that. Well, I would recommend that you lean into that because your system needs gentleness and not judgment. And this is a perfect time to shift into more self-compassion and realize that your nervous system is maybe making a cry. Pay attention and help me with what I need. The afterglow of stress is not only physiological, but it's emotional, it's cognitive, it's residue that remains after a period of really high activation. I like to think of it as the ringing in your ears after you go to a loud concert, maybe the soreness in your muscles after you have a really hard workout or run a marathon or have a really high taxing thing. After the workout's over, after the noise is gone, your body still has the residual of that event and your nervous system is still vibrating. So it's the same with stress. After the stressful event ends, your body hasn't fully come down, your brain hasn't returned to its normal clarity, your emotions haven't settled, and of course, your nervous system is still trying to recalibrate, and you're carrying this overload. And how does that actually work? Well, during the rushing and the planning and the caregiving, being around family, your adrenaline is high, cortisol is high, And your body doesn't always know the exact moment that the stressful event is over. It just realizes the demand that you have been placing upon it. So it does take some time for the pathophysiology to catch up. And sometimes we crash. And this is when the chemicals drop abruptly and we can feel exhausted. And this could look like exhaustion, brain fog, irritability, emotional sensitivity, feeling really fragile, feeling numb, difficulty concentrating, just a sense of blah, wanting to sleep or hide. And even small things can be really overwhelming. And again, this is your chemistry and your body's natural response to coming down from that high. Your brain feels that, but doesn't know exactly what. So it's trying to interpret the feelings that your body's communicating to it, and something feels off. So your brain searches for a reason. And you might think thoughts like, something's wrong with me. This isn't my normal. I shouldn't be this tired. I should be happy now. Everything was so great. I was just with my family and Christmas was wonderful. All of those things. And you think, why can I not feel that? Why am I so irritated? Why can't I get it together? Why do I feel off? Well, these thoughts aren't necessarily the truth. It's just your brain trying to explain the lack of those hormones that have been at their peak in your nervous system for several weeks. And it's that biological shift that's happening inside of you. And you don't feel motivation or discipline. And then, a few weeks later, we're asked to make New Year's resolutions and you're on this low and you start comparing yourself like, what's wrong with me? I want to tell you that this is where a lot of us push ourselves and we push harder and stronger and white knuckle our way through it. But I use this a lot with my clients. This is where we learn to use softness and we try softer and we allow that recovery. I want to give you this little analogy also that maybe your window of tolerance is like a stretchy rubber band, right? And it has been stretched to the max all month long. And then when the band doesn't snap back right away or immediately because it has been overstretched, it does gradually need some time to recover. And this isn't that you're less resilient, it's you're temporarily taxed. So let's talk about what your system needs in the afterglow and what trying softer looks like. What your system needs is more slowness, more quiet, more softening, warm foods, warm drinks, steady routines that are small. You're not asking a lot. Rhythmic movement, grounding, gentle social connections, low expectations, and again, rest, rest, rest. Your nervous system feels things. Your nervous system is retrained and recalibrated through modeling. And we are modeling to ourselves that it's okay to slow down and it's okay to have low expectations of ourselves. And once that safety is felt, then our system naturally returns to baseline. This matters because, again, with overachievers, it's hard to do this, take the time to do this without pushing ourselves harder, without being critical of ourselves, without assuming that these reactions mean something about your character or we messed up or we should be experiencing this differently. This is very normal, human, it's biology, it's temporary. Okay, so I wanted to shift gears just a little bit and talk a little bit about repairing because I help clients debrief a lot and we look back and they say, I did not show up well. I did not do what I had planned and what I had thought. I should have handled that better. I shouldn't have said that. Why does my family always act this way? And why do I always act this way around them? I should have enjoyed this more. I wish that things would have turned out differently. I feel behind. I feel frustrated, et cetera, et cetera. Any degree of it didn't turn out how I wanted it to. Okay, those are just versions of thoughts from a post-holiday letdown. These thoughts can keep your system in sympathetic activation long after the event has passed. So let's talk a little bit about how we can repair with yourself. Because before we can repair with others, we need to repair with ourselves. So the first is acknowledging the effort, right? Acknowledge what you did do. We are helping our brain see the reality of the good things that we did and actually what happened, and make it a little bit more factual and less dramatic. So you could say, I did a lot. That was a lot. And I handled it. The second is just naming what exactly was hard without blaming yourself. So thoughts like, that moment was triggering. I felt really overwhelmed, and that is why I did X, Y, and Z. My window of tolerance was narrow. I got flustered in that moment because there were so many people and it was overstimulating at the dinner, and et cetera, et cetera. And then we are going to actually help your brain see what went well, because our brains have a normal negativity bias because it wants to protect us and pay attention to the things that are bad or wrong. And so when we can purposely look for the good that we did, that helps our brain. And this is essential. And we're using our conscious to recall the positive. I hosted the dinner. I cooked X, Y, and Z. I cleaned. I prepared. I tried to make the house as comfortable as possible for our guests, right? Things like that. And then we're going to give yourself permission to rest, because you don't have to earn recovery. You don't have to earn an excuse to take care of yourself. But often we need permission to do that as high achievers. So I am giving you right now the permission to rest. The second is forgive yourself for anything that you're holding on to. You can give yourself a butterfly hug. You can take in a big sigh. This is the beginning of forgiving myself. Place a hand on your chest and allow for that softening. Self-repair creates an internal safety, and this internal safety is the foundation of regulation. You can also say things like, what do I need right now? And listen to your body. What would feel supportive to me? What can I let go of? How can I speak to myself with more generosity? We're doing things to help answer what our body is asking for. So after you've repaired with yourself, then if needed, you can repair with other people. Because of course, holidays stir things up, words get said, nerves get fried, people get activated, and old patterns show up. And remember that repairing is not blaming. Repairing is not rehashing. And repairing is not demanding apologies from other people and their behavior. But repair is about restoring connection or restoring boundaries, whichever is needed. And you can repair in a very simple way, such as a phone call or a text. Hey, that was really tough. I really care about our relationship. When you're wanting to talk, let's plan a time. Or, hey, I'm so sorry. I was really stressed. I could have handled that better. Please forgive me. Even, hey, I love you. Can we reset? Or, I've been thinking about our conversation. Can we talk about it? It's still been bothering me and I want to clear a few things up. Even, I need some space at that moment, but I'm here now and would love to talk when you can. And maybe even, I hear where you're coming from. Remember, we're thinking about the sorting and the othering that I mentioned in the previous episode, and how we like to put people in different categories than ourselves. And maybe that happened. And we want to say, hey, my perspective was very narrow. I want to hear from you. These don't need to be long. They don't need to be emotional essays. Again, we are not trying to reprove our point. We're trying to repair and be compassionate with ourselves and others. The healthiest repair does include being honest, direct, simple, grounded, and coming from a place of our nervous system regulation, right? We're not in an urgency state. We're not in I need to fix this mode. It's compassionate and caring, and you want to connect with other people. So regulate first. Make sure you're regulated when you send those messages, when you have a conversation. And then once we are regulated, then we can repair. So how can we re-regulate ourselves? And these are some tools that can actively shift your state and widen that window of tolerance and help your system find baseline again before you repair or just when you're by yourself. The first is, shocker, vagal reset breath, right? Breathing, I continue to say this, is a very effective, practical, easy way to help our nervous system reset. So a 4-second inhale and just an 8-second exhale, repeated for a minute, 2 minutes, 30 seconds, whatever. That communicates to your body that you are safe. And I would challenge you to do that a few times a day. Stillness before your stimulated day, busy day. So take some time to slow down and be in the moment, such as maybe you decide to not use your phone for the first half hour that you get up or before you go to bed. Those bookends really do help us create our day and reset from our day. So use that. Have dimmed lights. Have slower mornings. Create a time each day that it's going to be quiet and you can journal. Journaling is huge. Slow movement. Yoga, maybe you decide not to work out as hard and just do stretching and go for a walk. Go on a purposeful decompression walk where it's 10 to 20 minutes. It's at a more gentle pace. You're not listening to a podcast. You're not walking quickly. You're just letting your eyes look around and you're enjoying the moment, slowing down, natural breathing, soft focus, and it's a little more slow. Also reminding your nervous system that you are safe and in the present moment. So ask yourself, where am I right now? And check in a few times a day. What am I feeling? What do I need right now? Can I soften something in my body? Relaxing your body will help you, and your body will tell your brain again that you are safe and it can help in any moment. Also, another tool is just doing any sort of sensory reset. So a warm shower, a weighted blanket, sitting by the fire, a warm drink, calming music, good massage tools, gentle stretching, quiet room, right? These are just anchors that your body can physically feel and bring you into safety. And then remember, I like to always reevaluate, okay, how did my routine get off? What parts of myself got lost in the chaos and how can I bring them back? My routine changed, my sleep changed, my calm, joy, my emotional independence got hijacked. My thinking isn't as clear, and my connections with my spouse and myself and those in my closest inner circle may be off. Often we have New Year's resolutions after the holidays, and it's okay to wait on those because often we can feel shamed into those or compare ourselves with others, and we want this huge transformation, but we don't need something big. We don't need a new identity. We don't need massive resolutions. Just return to us. Return to yourself first. So softly, kindly, and gently. You are allowed to start fresh at any time, not just because the calendar changed, but because you want to create something more. But first, we are feeling like ourselves again. Okay, so I think that's about all. I created a little post-holiday freebie for you if you want to download it. I'll have the link in the show notes. I hope that you found this holiday regulation series helpful. Remember, you made it, you did the hard work, you stayed aware. I hope you learned new tools, and I hope you showed up for yourself in a way that matters, including recovery. Being regulated during the holidays isn't about being perfect. It's not about flawless interaction and having zero stress, but it's about understanding your nervous system, understanding your patterns, choosing more intentionally and more authentically who you want to be, and hopefully acting on those motives a little bit more, using tools that are helpful and actually work for you. I hope you found just one way to implement something new. I hope that you can remember to create safety for yourself and that you were able to live a little bit more emotionally independent instead of emotionally reactive. So thank you for listening. As you re-enter renormal life, just remember this state is not permanent. Your body is your ally, and you can create the peace that you want. I hope you have a great week, and thank you for being here. And again, check the show notes for a guide to help guide you through it, and really just do it. Right? A lot of times we listen to things, a lot of times we learn something, we get that little tiny dopamine hit of, yeah, this is so awesome, and then we don't take the action. So I'm asking you to take the action of resting, take the action of resetting, take the action of learning a little bit more about your nervous system state. And if there were some things that you didn't understand in this podcast, go to my previous ones to learn about them. So have a great week. Every week, you're learning something new here on this podcast, and that is a powerful first step. But guess what? Information alone doesn't create transformation. True change happens when you start to think differently and shift the nervous system patterns that drive your behavior. As a coach and an emotional resiliency expert, that is the work I do. I love to walk alongside you, whether it's one-on-one, in a small group that you choose, or with your workplace team. I can help you retrain your brain and nervous system so that stress no longer runs the show. You'll find ways to connect with me in the show notes. Let's do this work together.